You may know Mothra, or Mothra, as the giant moth famous for her roles in the Godzilla movies. This enormous insect possesses the abilities of endless flight, extremely poisonous gas, incredible strength, and other magical powers. So Mothra is just another simple monster you can have fun with, right? Well, not exactly. Originally as an image of hope and love in small areas of ancient Mongolia, China, and Korea, Mothra was said to be the goddess of love, who had the potential to wipe out any sources of evil, as long as everybody in the world would do her biddings of charity, tolerance, optimism, and worship. Many followers of this cult/religion were persecuted through torture, intimidation, terror, and even execution. Eventually, this idol was turned famous thanks to Toho Studios into one of the most notable kaijus of all time. However, another side of the story you may not know are the rituals that were performed in order to summon the mystical goddess. While many ways of summoning her are different, and some may not believe in this hocus-pocus in the first place, one man in his 30s, supposedly from Michigan, in the early 1990s, claimed to have successfully summoned her and interact with Mothra for over an hour through a very specific ritual he performed. It is said he found out about this by altering some techniques of previous rituals used before, mostly in ancient Mongolia, in order to call upon Mothra. Warning: this ritual is very dangerous, and just one mistake can cause your instant demise or eternal imprisonment in a realm no one can even fathom. If you are not prepared for the scary, unknown, or danger ahead of you, do not attempt this. As for the ritual itself, you will need a television with channel 61, a vial, cup, or bowl containing a single drop of your saliva, a single drop of your blood, a single drop of your mucus, and a single drop of your urine. A wooden bowl containing any drink you want, a cleaning cloth, a large mirror with something to prop it up against, a chair, and a sheet of paper containing the lyrics of Mothra's prayer, and it must be in Malay. This is optional, but we highly recommend using this paper. Do this all in a bedroom starting at 10:30 p.m. with a floor that can soak up liquids. Also note, you must complete Step 9, which will be mentioned later, before midnight, but you cannot start the ritual until it becomes completely dark outside. You will also need a little bit of luck in order for everything to work. We know that one particular ingredient is disgusting, but stuff like this is when we ask you, how willing are you to summon Mothra? Now for the steps. Turn on your television and turn it to channel 61. Whatever the method, make sure it is on static, whether it means using some sort of device or pressing the buttons on the original remote of the television instead of the one presented to you by the cable provider. Make sure to mute the TV. Place the mirror in front of the TV so that the whole television can be seen through it. Make sure it is facing the television directly. Place the chair right beside the TV, facing the mirror, but do not place it in front of the television. Next, take the combined contents of your bodily fluids, in whatever container they are in, and pour them into your drink, be it coffee, tea, soda, juice, a milkshake, a smoothie, or even just plain water. You can use any drink as long as it is consumable and non-poisonous. After you mix what is in your body with the drink, take one sip of it. This may gross you out, but it must be done for the ritual. Pour the rest of your drink onto the soft floor and let the drink soak into the surface, whatever the amount. Afterwards, put the cleaning cloth onto the damp area of the floor and press it in a little so it can soak up a bit of the drink. Nobody really knows why this step in particular is needed, but some people believe it has something to do with sensing an outside spiritual world that is unknown to the human mind. Set an alarm to go off in 45 minutes. You can use any alarm, whether it is on a phone clock or a digital clock. Once that is done, go to your bed, and before you fall asleep, you must think of a single event in your life that was extremely emotional. It can be any emotion from happiness to depression, from fear to anger, though it must be a moment in your life where you experience a lot of that emotion. Think about it a lot, and concentrate really hard so that you will dream of it. Now, this is where you need to have a bit of luck. Once you fall asleep, you must have a dream that at least relates to the event you were focusing on before you went to bed in some major way. You set your alarm for 45 minutes because you also need time to think about an event and fall asleep within 15 minutes so you can sleep for half an hour. You must sleep at least 30 minutes for the ritual to proceed. You must wake up no later than midnight, but you can begin the ritual any time of the night as long as you get your required sleep out of the way by 12 a.m. or before. When you wake up, get up and turn off all the lights and keep your eyes off the television. Sit in the chair placed by your TV and look in the mirror. The final step to summon Mothra is to, of course, recite the prayer. This is the same prayer used in the Mothra movies, and it is easy to find online. It must be on paper if you need to jumpstart your memory. You can sing it like the twin fairies do in the films, and it is recommended you do this, for it is said Mothra will come quicker if you sing it in the same tune. You also must recite the prayer in Malay, for using an English translation will not work. Look into the reflection of the static as you recite the prayer. Try practicing the pronunciation a lot beforehand. The prayer goes, Mothra, ya Mothra, dongkasa kuyan indomu, rusto orio da, hanba muyan, rada banduradan, doju kanra, kazakuyanmu. The prayer translates to, Mothra, O Mothra, of forgotten kindness and ruined spirits, we pray for the people's spirit as we sing the song of love. The ritual is complete, and depending on what you did with the prayers, Mothra will eventually show up in your television static. Though if an hour passes by and your TV shows no signs of activity, it means that something was not done correctly. If this is the case, then do not bail on the ritual by shutting off the television or putting away the mirror. Instead, if you cannot summon Mothra, then you must recite the song in reverse, aka recite the last verse first until you get to the first one at the end. You don't have to recite the words backwards, though, only the lines. However, if you did do everything right, you will see some barely visible blocks of gray pixels that will eventually become clearer to see. They will then form the face, wings, legs, and body of Mothra herself. This Mothra is not the fluffy, cute guardian insect you may know from her famous movies. This one is more similar seen in Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah Giant Monsters All-Out Attack, with angry-looking eyes, sharp antennae, flaming wings, and it can only be seen in gray and white. You can only see her in the mirror static, though if you look directly at the TV, you will suffer an odd fate of being sucked into the television itself, never being able to return to reality, and forever lost in a dimension of endless limbo. Once you have Mothra's attention, you can think of any thought, and Mothra will make it so that the TV displays exactly what you are thinking of. For example, if you are thinking of a beach, Mothra will make the television show a shiny, glittering 1080p HD picture of the beach that is in your mind. That's not all. Mothra can also play any event from any point in your life you think of as well. So, if you want to see your 18th birthday, elementary science fair, or the first tooth you lost, if you have a memory of it, Mothra will play it on the television as clear as she can. Though the stronger the memory, the clearer the picture is. If you also feel any emotion, Mothra will create a visual representation of that emotion. You need to concentrate really hard as you keep your eyes focused on the TV in the mirror. It's also worth noting that despite the fact you are looking at an image in a mirror, the imagery Mothra shows you is exactly how you imagine it, unreflected. Aside from displaying everything that is in your mind on screen, you can also ask Mothra questions. Though Mothra will not only answer simple ones, she will also answer questions dealing with the past, present, future, fortune, the mind, heart, soul, and even the origins of life. However, she can only answer visually, and considering how many of these questions are hard to answer without words, don't expect to gain too much knowledge if you want to find out something big and secret about this realm we live in. There is one thing you must never ask her. Do not ask Mothra anything relating to the god of balance, Godzilla. If you do so, she will paralyze your body in an instant, and take your soul into the inescapable dimension. Once you are done with Mothra, you must release her back into the cosmos. Look directly in her eyes for 5 minutes, and she will fade into the static, knowing you are no longer interested in spiritual conversation. After she disappears, your TV will shut off. Then get up, unplug anything connected to the television, and then unplug the television itself from the electrical socket. Step out of the room where you perform the ritual and do not return until noon of the following day. After 12 o'clock p.m., you can return to the room and put everything away.